Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Talk Your Abs Off. I am so excited for today's guest. Stacy Ryan is a friend of mine. I met Stacy first virtually through a podcasting virtual event, and then through that, as she was introducing herself, she said, "Oh, I'm from Wisconsin, and I am originally from Wisconsin. Now live in Florida." But I thought, "Holy cow, we need to be friends." And then I found out that Stacy was going to PodFest, which I went to in January of 2025, this past January. And we actually got to meet up in person. She's become a really dear friend of mine, and I'm so excited for you to hear her story. If you are looking for motivation and encouragement through the hard things, Stacy is the gal for that. So welcome, Stacy. I'm so excited to have you.
Thanks, Abby. I remember that phone call, the Zoom thing that we were like, wait, what? We're from Wisconsin. And then meeting at PodFest, having dinner with you and talking about this exact moment. And hey, we should do a podcast episode together. So here we are.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I remember that too. Literally during the virtual event, as you were talking, I found you on Instagram. I was being a creep. I found you on Instagram and I was like messaging you. I was like, "Hi, I'm from Wisconsin too. I would love to meet you. You're going to podcast. I'm going to podcast. We have to hang out." So,
Right.
yeah.
It was meant to be because we ended up on that conference or that Zoom call initially going into our own little pod and like
Yeah.
staring at each other like, okay, what do we do? And then we just got to know each other and here we are.
I love it so much. Well,
Yep.
Stacy is an author and a podcaster, and I'm so excited for you to hear a little bit more about her story. So, Stacy has had cancer, Stacy's lost her husband, and Stacy's done a lot of really amazing things after all of that has happened. So, Stacy, I want you to just start by sharing a little bit about your cancer journey and how it's shaped your perspectives both in health and in your life overall.
It was 2013. I was 45 years old. I was a health and fitness director at the local YMCA. I was into fitness. I had done a couple Ironman. I was doing marathons in my 30s, all the things. I know how to take care of myself. And all of a sudden, at the same time, I was running a program at the Y. It's called Live Strong at the YMCA. And it's a specific 12-week program for cancer survivors to regain strength either through treatment or after treatment. So I just was passionately involved, had no connection to cancer before that, but it was something that I was very, very interested in helping these people. So I had met over 200 cancer survivors up to this point. Well, one random day, and it was quite literally a random day. I live in Wisconsin. I also live in Green Bay. So we were at a Packers game on a Sunday with my brother and sister-in-law, having a great time, showed them all the Packer, all the things that we do here for tailgating, and gave her the whole experience. Well, we came home and my brother was like, "Hey, why do you have a lump on your neck?" I'm like, "I don't even know what you're talking about." So go to the bathroom and I had this golf ball size, what I call the goiter, like looking thing on my neck. I'm like, that's weird. I mean, I didn't feel it. My husband's like, okay, something's wrong. Cause it was, again, I took care of myself. I never really got sick or had anything happen to me. So I just went to bed. It was Sunday night and I got super flu-like symptoms overnight. And I woke up, my husband's like, something's not right. We're going to the doctor. So went to the doctor. My husband brought me and they said, "Oh, sometimes lymph nodes pop up and create flu-like symptoms or vice versa." So, all right, here's some steroids to reduce the swelling, yada, yada. So that was a Monday. They said if the swelling didn't go down by Wednesday to come back in, we'll send you to an ear, nose, and throat doctor. So, well, Wednesday came and I still felt like caca and went to the ear, nose, and throat doctor. Same kind of conversation. No one looked concerned, said anything concerning to me, looked at my throat. Yep, you know what? We'll give you some more steroids. If it doesn't go down by Friday, we will remove it surgically. Okay. So other than feeling like not great, right? Because it was all flu-like symptoms and I stayed home from work that week, it was nothing to be concerned about. Well, Friday came and same thing, nothing had changed. So that Friday was my first surgery ever in my life.
Wow.
removing this lymph node. So that Saturday of that weekend was my husband and I's 20th wedding anniversary. Not exactly how I envisioned the 20th year, which is kind of a big deal. So I remember, can I just have like one glass of wine with my husband tomorrow to celebrate our 20? He's like, yes, Stacy. So that's what we did. We stayed at home. I had this big gauze thing on my neck as I was recovering from that. He said, now don't work out for a while. Just please rest. You had surgery, you were sick. Okay. So, because I was teaching classes, I worked out by myself, like all the things. So I go back to work on Monday. I was feeling better. The flu-like symptoms have gone away. So I thought, okay, all right, well, that was just a random thing that happened in my life. I stayed home from work on Monday. I went back to work on Tuesday. So I'm catching up now. I'm in my office. I got, emails and all the voicemails, meeting with people. And I was meeting with somebody in my office at the time. It was a little after 2:00 that afternoon, and my office phone rang. I didn't get it because I'm in a meeting. Went to voicemail. 2 seconds later, my cell phone rang. It was the same phone number. So I thought, all right, I'll answer it. Answered the call, and it was my doctor who surgically removed the lymph node on that Friday. And he was just that doctor. So I seriously thought he was just checking in to see how I was doing, making sure I wasn't exercising and all those things. When he did ask those questions, but then he went into this very soft tone voice and said, Stacy, these are just moments in your life you don't forget, right? So it get choked up. I'm wondering if you and John, my husband, can come in the office this afternoon. I don't want to talk to you about it over the phone, but we did find cancer cells.
Mm.
I mean, I physically, mentally, emotionally, everything, my whole body just shut down because I was not expecting this news. It just came out of the blue, random, I'm like, yep, sure. So I called. Well, the girl who's in my office is also a friend of mine outside of the Y. I looked at her with tears and I said, they found cancer cells. And she gets up and hugs me. I'm like, I have to call my husband. So I called my husband and I said, they found cancer cells. There was no more words. He said, I am on the way. He works 40 minutes from where I work. He was there in 30 minutes. Like, I swear he probably did 90 down the highway. And it came into my office, and I had some people surrounding me, just like keeping me distracted while I was waiting for him. We left. We had a moment at our house about 20 minutes before we had to go to the doctor's office and had kind of a special moment that we just shared it together. Scared. My husband and I have this great, beautiful, amazing marriage already, and it just something elevated at that exact moment. So we went to the doctor's office and he went right into it, didn't waste any time and said, we found cancer cells through the lymph node that we sent in to get tested. I didn't even know they were going to do that. But anyway, he said, so what this is telling us is you have cancer somewhere in your body. We just have to find out where.
Wow.
And to do that, we will do a PET scan. When would you like that? I'm like, right now.
Yeah.
Like, right now. He said, okay, I understand you're wanting to know and get this done. You have to go on a 24-hour protein-only diet. So this was a Tuesday. So he said, Wednesday, I'll give you the diet plan. And then Thursday, we'll do the scan. So that's what we did. On Wednesday, we stayed home from work. We raked leaves and just did random things like that to distract ourselves while I ate everything protein that was on the list. And then Thursday, went in for the scan and within 2 hours had the results. And they had said that I had a 1/4-inch tumor on my left tonsil.
Wow.
So that was the Thursday. So that next day they said, all right, here's where we're going to go. So all of a sudden, next thing I know, I have a team of doctors. I had one doctor, my primary care doctor for this. And all of a sudden, within a week, I have, I can't even remember, but between everybody who's on the oncology team, hundreds, right? So that's at least what it felt like. So they had to remove my tonsils that following Friday or the next day. So I had 2 surgeries in 2 weeks for the first time ever in my life. So while I was recovering from the tonsil surgery, I had doctor appointment after doctor appointment, and on what the game plan was going to be. The doctors said that because I was 45, I was young, I was healthy, and I was fit. They said because of those things, Stacy, you're going to be okay. However, because of those things, we're going to beat the crap out of you so
Mm.
that we can get this treatment done sooner. So if I was an unfit, unhealthy 60, older person per se, or any of those categories, the treatment plan would have looked different. They would have spread it out. It would have been a longer recovery time, all the things, right?
They brought you in and it was really an aggressive treatment plan
Oh,
because
it
you were
was,
healthy.
yes, 100%. And they wholeheartedly said that to me. And I'm like, bring it on, because I don't want to be here any longer than I have to. I didn't know what to expect other than they just told me it was going to be not good.
Mhm.
But I'm like, all right, I at that time had done 2 Ironman and all these marathons, 8 years prior. So I thought, all right, again, not literally thinking this, but I just knew I was determined. And I realized in my now life that my determination came from all these other things I had done to, work on doing an Ironman and all those things and the dedication it takes. So I applied all of that. And I remember the doctors, again, as treatment started, I had 33 radiation treatments and 3 chemo treatments.
Wow.
And that was all coupled together. So accumulatively, as you get these, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse as a side effects. And they didn't lie when they said it was going to be bad. It's fatigue and nausea and all of these buzzwords of cancer.
Mhm.
And I've talked about this before. Unless you actually feel what that is, as someone who's gone through cancer, um, it's hard to explain. It's not just being tired and wanting to feel like you're going to be sick, right? It's a whole nother level. I had never experienced that before, and it just takes you down. But the whole time that, I was going through those treatments, I knew I had a whiteboard on that I bought, put it on the wall in our kitchen, and I had all the days counted down, like the 33 radiation treatments. And every day I would come home and I would just be like Xing off so I could see, physically see with my eyes how much more I had to do and how much, because as it was getting harder, I needed to see this window shrinking, right? And
That's amazing. So you could see your goal at the end, right? It's
yes,
like we set
yes,
fitness goals. You were setting this goal for the end of your treatment.
absolutely. It all of those things from applying, from a goal setting perspective that I did, for all the fitness things, whether that's, this week I want to accomplish whatever, or I want to do some big event. It's a goal. And I needed to do that to sustain my own mental health through that process. Unfortunately, because the treatments beat me up so bad, I couldn't work out. I couldn't exercise.
Mm.
I barely could get out of bed. It was,
Wow.
as the time progressed. So for me, that mentally took a toll on me.
Yeah,
'Cause
100%. Yeah, I can't
that's
imagine.
what I know, right? Like my life was exercise. I didn't do it because I had to. I do it because I love to do it. I love movement. I love being social with people in that environment. So taking that away from me was really hard.
Yeah.
So that checking of the boxes really helped me to look forward to something. So yeah, the treatments did everything the doctor that it said they were going to do. Take me down. Uh, but on my last treatment, which was January 7th after the first of the year, they gave me all these statistics, right? Which is what doctors have to do. So it's just part of the journey of this is how long this is going to take. This might never come back. Like taste buds, all these things that happened. I'm like, I'm not a statistic. Like, no. I had already because I knew that my treatments were done and now it was only uphill from here. It was a day by day thing for me. So I started setting mini goals immediately on the other end of it.
Mm.
So because I was barely able to walk myself to the bathroom, I had zero energy. It just zapped me, right? So now I'm like, okay, today I'm going to go walk to the bathroom by myself. Today I'm going to stand and take a shower. The next day, I'm going to walk, around the house. Like it was all these little things. And it was everyday persistence of sometimes, as I was starting, I had to kind of force myself, right? Because it was not easy. The
Yeah.
easy thing would have been just to rest and let it heal and do its thing. I'm like, mm-mm.
Yeah.
No,
You
absolutely
you
not.
you sat still for so long through all of that that you were ready to just get back at it.
Right? That tested my patience 100%. We all have our things. Patience is not my best thing, but I had to
Mhm.
learn. I didn't have a choice. So little by little, I started setting goals. And then I remember because I didn't go back to work for about 3 weeks or so. But I remember doing Zoom or FaceTime, whatever we had back then. Uh, so I taught cycling class. I taught a lot of classes, but cycling was my jam. That was my baby. And so I had subs for all these classes. So they would FaceTime me into these classes.
Aw.
And I had a spin bike at my house. And I would just literally sit there and pedal barely. But like I got to feel the energy. I get goosebumps just thinking about that. I remember those are huge moments for me to be like connected to them and feel some sense of camaraderie. Oh my God, that's a whole nother story in itself. So my last treatment was January 7th. They said minimally 6 months before I start feeling my energy back. So cycling class, the level of energy it takes to take it, participate, much less teach it, right? Because
Mhm.
now teaching
Intense,
is
yeah.
a whole other thing. I was teaching my first class in a month.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yep. I in February, and I made a big deal out of that too. But I'm like, okay, it wasn't back 100%, but I was there in front of class doing what I love to do and back at it. I wholeheartedly believe that because I saw it with my own self that that determination, the consistency, the what I had going in as far as my level of fitness helped me survive on the other side of it. And now I'm over 10 years out and I'm cancer free and it's all good from my perspective on my health. And um, yeah, it was a journey and it taught me a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine. And congratulations for being a survivor, for beating
Thank
cancer.
you.
That's incredible. You are so strong and you have found so much life on the other side. And now what are you doing? Are you still working out? Are you back to working out? What are you doing now?
Oh, yes, I definitely work out all the time. And when I say all the time, as you get older, I am now 57. So I had cancer when I was 45. I was in my prime of, I would say, my fitness level in my 30s when I was doing Ironman and marathons, right? And then I did other things, mountain bike racing. I tried adventure racing. I just like to challenge myself in different ways. So as the years and the decades go, come through, I continue to do what I do, but it's quality over quantity now for me, right? Like I'm not going to go run for 2 hours. I'm happy
Mhm.
with 20 minutes, but it is a part of me. My friends, if I'm traveling on vacation with them, they know that Stacy needs an hour by herself in the morning, whether that's to do yoga, wherever we are. I'm going to work out in some capacity, even if it's the fitness room in the hotel.
Well, when you and I
Um,
went to Podfest, you and I were both down in the fitness center bright and early in the
yeah,
morning. You were on the bike, and I didn't want to do anything, so I was on the treadmill walking and then stretching. But you were kicking butt on the bike, so
yeah, it is and again, I've learned how that 20 minutes it just energizes me at a whole nother level that I need that, not just physically. It's not about that for me. It's about this internal health and in my mental, spiritual, emotional self, and obviously there's the physical component too, but that's not the priority for me.
yeah, absolutely. It really does make such a big difference mentally and kind of coming out, especially on the other side of it, like you really want that grounding and that time for yourself to really refocus, hone in on your goals and, you know, even other things, and just staying healthy because you know how important it is for your body to be strong and healthy, especially as you age. And as we talk about mindset too, I want to talk about um, the other experience that you've gone through. So you lost your husband, and I want you to share a little bit about that process as well, and how your health and wellness journey has kind of paired with that through the grief that you've experienced. Would you share a little bit about that?
I will. I will tell you in a short version, my health and fitness and wellness choices quite literally saved my life after losing my husband. So in 2019, 5 years after I got cancer, my husband, out of the blue, same similar story. There was, a Packer game that night, all the things. Didn't feel well, and within a couple weeks, we had found out that it was colon cancer. By the time we had caught it, it was already metastasized to his liver. So it was go time at 100 miles an hour. So we started the most aggressive treatment with him. My cancer journey, and this is things that I write about in my book series, but I believe I got cancer before my husband so I could be as strong as I possibly could for him
Mm.
as it relates to the side effects and the things that he was dealing with, and I could be a better caregiver for him. So that's how I justify me getting cancer in my own brain. But his journey started as far as treatment in October, and then by the end of January, they did a scan and they said it's not working. So the only option for him at that time was a trial. We found a trial, which was at Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, which was 4 hours from my driveway or our driveway to their parking ramp. I know it very well
Hmm.
because I drove it weekly while he went and got some immunotherapy, and drove him home, as he did not feel well. So unfortunately, a couple of treatments into that, they told us that that was it. There's nothing more we can do. So it was June of 2020 when, we were told that we had to make a decision. We could continue to have some type of chemo that would help him potentially prolong his life. No guarantees, but it comes with side effects that basically you wouldn't be able to do anything anyway, or live the best life that we have left, and that's what we chose. You make these hard decisions in life, and I can tell you where we were standing in our house and all the things, what we were wearing, and that conversation. It sucked, but that's what we had to, that was our choice. And so we lived the last 6 months of his life. He passed away in December of 2020, the best that we could. I went to every doctor's appointment. I was at everything with him for that first 6 months. But no matter what, in some time of that day while he was taking a nap, I would, go for a run. I did a period of my life too. We did some boxing, and I have the gloves and I have the things, and I would have girlfriends come over and I would just like punch stuff because I had a lot of built up anger about this situation I was in. And
Yeah.
so that helped release
Hmm.
some of that so that I could be the best version of myself for my husband. So I learned different techniques like that. Sometimes I just needed also the mental break, and I just needed to shut my brain off into meditative yoga like things. So it was a balance between both of those depending on what either my time frame was or my mood and what was happening. But I ensured movement was in my day. Again, I had the spin bike, I had a treadmill. So if I couldn't go outside because I didn't want to leave him for a long period of time, I made it happen. As he progressively got sicker, he was in our bed, and so we had in-home hospice, and I took care of him. But I bought a futon that I kind of butt up against our bed so I could just be in the room at all times. And as it was progressively getting worse, and he was not really talking anymore throughout this process, at that point, I couldn't leave his side. I was afraid to go to the bathroom, right? Like, because I knew it, at any moment, I just didn't know when it was going to happen, right? So it was a couple weeks where I didn't get any exercise because I couldn't. My husband was my priority in my life. And, when he passed away on December 10th. And after, it was probably a couple days after, once I kind of came out of the shock of this is the reality of my life, I just had to really find that determination and that grit again. It's not like I didn't want to, I just had to find the energy and the care about to do it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I just lost the love of my life, and we were together for 30 years. It's all I knew. And so, as I was grieving, I had to find these outlets. And it started off where I even going for a walk with a girlfriend to hear the birds and get some vitamin D in my face. It had to be like simple things like that. I couldn't go to yoga class. I'm pretty sure it was over a year before I went to yoga
Oh, wow. What's that?
because every time I closed my eyes, all I could visualize was his last breath.
Mm,
And that took me to a place that I couldn't, I'm just trying to not think about that.
yeah.
And so when, a yoga class, because from a workout perspective, I do a lot of it by myself, the swimming, the biking, the running. But yoga was a studio, group of people. And this is what happened, right? Like, so for a whole year, I kind of actually avoided, other than my close knit people, plus it was COVID,
Yeah.
um, that so for all those reasons where I'm like, I don't want to lose my, my stuff. I did, but I had to do it in the privacy of either by myself or with people that, my close knit group. So, but it was like, it saved my life, as I started to now find the strength to, get back into more aggressive workouts from an interval workout, like, get my heart rate up. And then, I realized, wow, it's not that I didn't know, but when you feel this change, because this tore me apart of losing my husband and a 20-minute ride on a spin bike, like I felt like for like an hour after, I felt like a normal human being.
Mm,
Like the endorphins and the things that just came out of me. And I'm like, okay, this feels good to be normal for an hour. And then, all the emotions and the grief would come back and but it was a process. It was a time that I had to let it just be what it was. And there was no, I couldn't put a time frame on it. I just felt what I was feeling, um, and managed it, the best that I could.
yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I know it's hard to talk about, and it's what you went through was a very hard time, but to see how much resiliency you've built, your mental fortitude, everything that has come out on the other side of it is really inspiring. And, for you to be able to share this with other people, if you had to share with anyone who is going through grief or a traumatic event right now and is having a really hard time finding motivation to even step outside, what's one thing that you would tell them right now?
The one thing, because I saw the question and I really it came to me immediately because I experienced it myself. But do not give up on yourself. It is hard. It is hard. I'm not saying any of this was easy, and I had to dig deep. I fell a lot in the beginning. I fell a lot even after I found out I had cancer. I mean, that was like, what is, I questioned it a lot, but then I'm like, okay, I can't question it. I just need to fight it, right? But you have to find that and allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, but you need to just find this determination to never give up. Even when you feel you're at the lowest of lows, the only way you can go from there is up. And even
Hmm.
if it's this much, that's is progress. And then I guess to couple that with learn to celebrate
Mm,
that one step forward. So like when I said before, after my cancer journey, I just found, okay, today I'm going to walk myself to the bathroom. You know what? High five me.
that's a
Like,
little win for sure.
right? it may seem so, like, now you think about it, like, well, what's the big deal? But it's a big deal,
No,
and you
that's
should
huge.
celebrate it.
Yeah,
So celebrate the small things, the little things, and just never, ever, 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 ever give up.
that's incredible. I think that's really good advice, and I think especially if someone is going through it right now in this moment, like that's one small actionable thing that they can do, even if it's just stepping outside for 5 minutes, like you said, getting some vitamin D on your skin, and just starting with those small steps. Now, you also talked about, and it's amazing for me as your friend to see this to kind of come full circle. So you had a hard time going back into yoga. It took you a year to get back into a yoga studio, and now we're 5 or 6 years removed from that. And I know you have a really exciting announcement that you want to share. You shared with me, and I'm going to let you share the big news because I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, so I sort of, I have a podcast in the book series about what we just talked about, right? You've seen it, and I talked about the my cancer journey, my widowship journey, and I shared those stories and all the emotion that came with it in a lot of all the raw detail, because I wanted those people out there who may feel the same feelings to know that they're not alone and to provide that hope, right? But I'm done with those. Like, the books are published, the podcast is done, and it's out there. It'll be relevant for the rest of its existence, right? But I'm like, I can't continue to do this, cry, because when I relive this, when I'm telling those stories that I just shared with you, like, I'm in that doctor's office.
Mhm.
I am in that room with my husband. Like, and for me to mentally go back there, it is, I will have to get some vitamin D after this podcast, quite honestly, but that's what I do.
Mhm.
I find the strength to share the story, and then I go take care of myself and what I need to do.
Mm.
Um, so as that was coming to an end, from as far as the production of it, like, all right, I need something now in my life that makes sense in my heart. My husband told me 1,000 times the last year of his life to go live my best life, and to go, that I have so much to offer this world and to find my purpose. Well, the last year, 2 years, my purpose was sharing my story, and I believe that. So I needed something else. I'm like, okay, I've always have been passionate about health and fitness for myself, but I love more than anything. I get a high off of life when others come and share their health and wellness journey and share, like, Stacy, guess what? And I don't care if it's like I lowered my cholesterol or I walked my first 5K, name it. I don't care what it is. If it's their journey and are excited about it, oh my gosh, that's all I care about. So yoga, as I had to take the year off because it just wasn't fitting my what I was going through in my life, and I knew it'd come back. And once I found it again, I just found this whole nother level of connection to it. And it's kind of one of those things, again, unless you do it, it's hard to explain what you get out of it, right? But it's such a beautiful, peaceful thing. And opportunity presented itself at the end of spring this year, as I was trying to set my next goal for Stacy. And there's this space, this little cute little house with an upstairs, and I'm like, you know what? Yoga would be this would be so adorable. And it's like this little village of shops and things. And as I was meeting with the person who owns the building, he's like, "Oh, where's your yoga studio now, Stacy?" And I'm like, "Oh, no." I'm like, "I just came up with this idea 2 days ago, and I saw the space."
That's what I love about you is your spontaneity.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm literally building this in my head as we're walking up the stairs. He's like, "Oh, okay." So we get up there, and I'm like, I fell in love. It is just this quaint little upstairs of a house, right? With this room that's perfect for 8 yogis or 8 people. And so all of a sudden, here we are. It is a yoga and wellness studio. My heart is so full, Abby. Like, I never in a gazillion years would have ever thought that this was going to be my next thing, right?
Mhm.
Um, but the excitement around it is making, that's all I want. Like, the 3 goals, I'm not even teaching classes. It's not even about that. I want others there's these teachers out there who have um, this skill, this talent, this passion, and they just need the space to do it. The coolest thing for me right now is two things. Is the people who are coming to me to share their skill, talent, and passion reached out to me. It's the most shared viral post I've ever done before. And I did a podcast and a book series. Like, all of a sudden, boom, it exploded locally. And people are like, they have breath work, sound bath. They teach classes for women going through menopause. The list is endless from a yoga and wellness perspective. And they're like, Stacy, do you think this would fit the vibe? And each one of them shared this story with me. So I shared my story about the journey that I just talked about, and that this is the next thing in my heart that I'm feeling I want to get back to the health and wellness. They all have a story too. They had a story of a life-changing moment that they found sound healing, they found breath work, whatever it is that they teach, they found it and it saved their life. It saved them it helped them move forward. And now they got certified and they want to share that with the world. That's the people who are going to be teaching at the studio. Like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And here, what should I do next? And here we are, we're opening September 7th.
Oh my gosh, that's so
There's
exciting.
like 13 teachers, plus it's growing. The list of variety of classes is just mind-blowing, amazing. We are going to do 8-person max. Okay, this is 8-person max classes, because the goal is to create these small communities with like-minded people to foster those friendships, to feel you don't want to get lost in the shuffle of things. And it's really bringing the people in who've ever said to me, Stacey, I've always wanted to try, you fill in the blank.
Mm-hmm.
It could be yoga, it could be cycling class, it could be the list, from a health and wellness perspective. That's the demographics, right? Like, so now there's 7 other friends they're going to meet, people who are like, it's slow flow, it's restorative yoga. It's going to be the chillest, calmest, most peaceful vibe. There's like trees and birds. It's a little country home. Like, oh my gosh. So here we are.
Incredible. Okay, so you said it opens September 7th.
Yes.
Tell us where it is and tell us the name so that if people want to find it, they can find it.
Okay.
It'll be in Wisconsin. So if anybody wants to travel to Wisconsin, or for my Wisconsin listeners, y'all are
It'll
close.
be so worth it. It's called the Zen Den Yoga and Wellness Studio. There's a website, thezenden.us. So follow me there. I'm on Facebook and Instagram as well as the Zen Den. You can follow to keep updated on what's going on. And I don't know, I just have a really good feeling that this is going to be bigger than what I as I was walking up the stairs.
And it's so fitting for you. And it'll be in Green Bay, correct? That's where it's located?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so to all my Green Bay locals, or even those in Milwaukee, it's only 2 hours. You can make it. I believe in you. Wonderful. Well, I love that for you. I think that that's amazing. And so also people if they want to hear more about your story, if they want to read your books, if they want to listen to your podcast, what are those?
So the podcast is called Whole New Life, and I'm on Spotify, Apple, or Buzzsprout. And there's links. I have a Stacy Ryan author and a Whole New Life Instagram and Facebook pages. So if you just look for Stacy Ryan, you'll see all the other options. And now I have the Zen Den. So I have that. And then the book series, there's 3 books. It's 46 Days, 140.6 Smiles, and 3 words. And it is on Amazon. Is probably the easiest way. I do have inventory, so you're welcome to message me and I can figure out how to get them to you. But yeah, they're small, or not small, but short 100-page books that each kind of break down a lot of things that we talked about, but more detail. But it's really just to provide that, if you're going through something, and it does not have to be anything related to what I went through, but if you're going through something, right, the goal for being vulnerable on paper and in voice is to let others know they're not alone, and to provide that hope that, put in the work, it'll be worth it.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm so proud of you, Stacy. That's amazing. And I'm going to make sure to put I'm going to link all of your social medias and your website in the show notes so that people can easily access it. Now, the last portion of my show, it's one of my favorite things to talk about because the fitness industry can be a little bit toxic sometimes. So, the absolution portion of my show is where you tell me something that you think in the fitness industry we can absolve ourselves of the guilt and shame of. So, what do you think, Stacy?
All right. So here is my take on that. Healthy is not defined by your pant size, how skinny you are, six pack abs, all the things, right? Healthy is such a well rounded and pun intended mind, body, spirit thing. And so I think, people, you can get caught up in so many of the things out there, right? And how you want to appearance and look. And I'm not saying that's not important, but I'm saying that my take on that's not the priority. There's so much more. And it's all the things that we just talked about. I mean, all the reasons that I exercised during those times of my life that were the hardest times that I ever had to experience. I hope no one ever has to, but it quite literally saved my life from a mental, emotional, and spiritual perspective. It had nothing to do with me wanting to see how many push-ups I could do.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that you get so much more out of movement and being healthy and making choices. I live my life as an 80-20 girl. So I'm going to have fun in life. So I'm going to have a glass of wine. I'm going to have deep fried cheese curds because that's what we do in Wisconsin. I'm going to have the thing. And I'm not going to feel guilty about it. Now, I'm not going to do it every day or every 5 minutes, but
Right.
there are just, to me, it's about the balance of life and, knowing what that healthy is not that image thing.
Yeah, the 80-20 rule is a beautiful thing. And I think that's what really makes a lot within fitness sustainable, especially for your lifetime. So I absolutely love that. Completely agree. There is so much more outside of the number on the scale, your pant size, and we need to celebrate those things. Those non-scale victories, I always call those. Those are
Yeah,
things.
agreed. Agreed.
Well, thank you so much, Stacy, for your time today, for your vulnerability, sharing your story. I am 100% confident that this is going to impact people and just be so encouraging and motivating and inspire others to live their best, their healthiest life, no matter what they're going through. So I just want to thank you for bringing that to the table today.
You're welcome, and I'm honored to share this story. I'm happy to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. All right, everyone, that is all for today. I hope to see you on the next episode of Talk Your Abs Off. If you'd like to connect with me online on social media, you can find me at Coach Abby Clapper, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever else you get your content. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode.